and all of my officers to put in place an online system. Now the online system is being manipulated so that people can make money. There's an investigation going on, and some names have been mentioned. And there are people from outside a cartel who are working with people from inside. Anybody who has been here for more than a year, from Monday, please do not come back because you've been changed. We want to bring some sanity.
Middlemen, popularly known as Goro boys, have infiltrated institutions including passport offices in recent times, causing artificial delays. These middlemen demand monies from individuals during processes leading to the acquisition of Ghana's passport. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has described the phenomenon as unacceptable. The sector minister, Shirley Ayoko-Botche, during unannounced visits to the Rage and Kimbu offices here in Accra, expressed her displeasure at the act, alleging that staff collaborate with the Goro boys to extort huge sums of monies from applicants.
If we talk about Goro people, these Goro people are outsiders. They do not work on their own, because if the Goro person collects somebody's money, they need to work with somebody from inside to change the dates. They work with people from inside. I'm not saying all of you, but there are some of you who are engaged in it. And this should stop. The blame is always on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Meanwhile, it's the agencies, and I'm sure even some of our staff are involved. Public servants who are supposed to be giving public service to Ghanaians. The Vice President has led the digitalization effort with my support and all of my officers to put in place an online system. Now the online system is being manipulated so that people can make money off it.
According to her, the ministry has launched investigations into the matter and will deal with those found culpable.
There's an investigation going on, and some names have been mentioned. And there are people from outside a cartel who are working with people from inside. Anybody who has been here for more than a year, from Monday, please do not come back because you've been changed. We want to bring some sanity.
Some applicants expressed their frustrations over the delay in the acquisition of passports here in Ghana.
When I came here, just for a renewal, but what I'm saying is it's not good at all. As a grown-up person, we are all human beings. So when you are talking to a grown-up, you know how to talk to the grown-up. You can't tell the parent, you can't be asking you, have you gone to school before? Who's your parent? Will your parents have died? No, that's not. You are coming here for a renew passport. So do the passport, they have to be appropriate, so have to do it.
The frustration is that you come, whatever you're supposed to come and do, vetting and take your picture and go home and go and wait for your passport. But here you are, you come. If this thing is supposed to be outside, if they give you 9:30, if you come 9:30, they will attend to you and you go home. But you come for only one passport, you spend over. People were talking this morning that they were here on Thursday, Friday for the same purpose.
The move by the Foreign Affairs Ministry is part of efforts to ensure that there is transparency in the process of acquiring passports and that there is no room for corruption. Middlemen, popularly known as Goro boys, have infiltrated institutions including passport offices.
I've said this before, and let me in conclusion stress again that it will not be under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that same-sex marriage will be legal. The same-sex marriage will be legalized in Ghana. It will never happen in my time as president. Let me repeat, it will never happen in my time as president.
Ladies and gentlemen, every seed that is stolen means a child being denied education, a farmer being denied a license, a driver not getting good road, and the sick being left to die. I fear for Ghana. I am frightened about the future the NDC is building for the young people of our country. It is a future of indebtedness, a future of hopelessness. It is a wretched future being incredibly, needlessly created by a reckless government. The prospect of another 4 years of this scares me, and so must it scare you too.
Yeah, thank you very much. You have specifically mentioned corruption within the taxation system. What exactly will you do to stamp this out?
The measures are going to be difficult, but there have to be a variety of them, including what I call the ANAS principle, setting up highly motivated professional groups of young people who will work, if you like, as it were, undercover to unearth examples of corruption wherever they can find it, and thereby allow the authority to deal with the issue. Because not only do you unearth the corruption, but you actually deal with it in terms of sending people to court, prosecuting them. Hopefully the courts will cooperate and make sure that the offenders are found guilty and sanctions appropriately enforced. So a variety of measures, but a key one is the ANAS principle, as well as, of course, what you do to securize those who are in the tax collecting agencies. We need it as a nation in these times. From the pulpit, do encourage hard work, understanding work as a vocation, and patriotism as a virtue. The Ghanaians must continue to embrace in this new year and beyond, so that Ghana will remain a shining star of Africa and a key player on the world stage. Let me respond briefly to the chairperson on the issue of illegal mining. I want to assure him and all of you that Akonta Mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak. Further, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has, through the agency of the Forestry Commission, with the assistance of the military, made the effort to cordon off all 294 sites of forest reserves in the country and rid them of illegal mining as we speak. We will continue to work to ensure that this situation remains permanent. This government is determined to win the fight against galamsey, no matter the cost in effort.
I think that the most effective way that we can have a debt portfolio for our country that is sustainable is to make sure that the NDC loses this election in December. Kicking out the NDC will be the surest way we can to protect the debt structure of our country. Why do I say that? In the 4 years in which they have been in power, they have more than tripled our national debt from 9 billion cedis, which was at the end of Kufuor's period, to 28 billion cedis today. In the 4 years of the NDC administration, they have contracted more debt than all the governments of our country, from Kwame Nkrumah right down to John Agyekum Kufuor. That is the nature of the situation confronting our country. And I dare say the president would agree with me that without the rebasing of the economy, the debt profile of our country today will be getting towards epic proportions. So we need, when we're talking about the debt profile of our country, to bear in mind two things. One, the areas into which the debt goes. And I agree with some of my previous speakers that the productive investment and the rate of return on them is a critical one. Equally critical is the value for money of the transactions that the debt
brings about. We need to look at that. I've given some examples of public procurements that are taking place in our country on an extremely inflated rate. Once again, we need to look at this. You're talking about loans that are given, and inside the loans, the arrangements for determining value for money remain very opaque and unclear. How can you persuade the Ghanaian people that debts are being contracted in these circumstances that are there to push forward their future? We intend to be extremely disciplined about the contraction of debt. We're first of all going to respect the teachings of the national budget and treat it as precious. We will not be stepping outside the constraints of the budget. We are going to make sure that we reduce considerably areas of corruption in the construction and execution of some of these projects. These are the critical matters that our people are looking for leadership on. That we are not going to get ourselves in airline and other aircraft and other transactions that leave so many questions to be answered. The 28 billion is even without the latest Chinese debt.
Thank you so much.
I've heard it being said that I should be careful. Many of these people voted for me, and if I continue this exercise, perhaps they will not vote for me again. If by the grace of God I'm in a position, my party allows me to go again, and I have the health and everything to go again, that I'll not get it again. And I'll say to myself, well, this is a choice that all of us have to make as human beings. You do what you think is right, or do you do what you think will allow you to get along? I think that you do what you think is right. That is what you're required to do. Fortunately for me, in this fight, I have great allies. First of all, within my government. The people who are in the front line of that, all of them are here. The Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. The Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation. Eminent Ghanaians, responsible Ghanaians, who have gone out of their way to lead this crusade. But from the beginning, they said something which is the reason why you're here today. We cannot win this fight without the support of the traditional authorities of our country. Any serious social mobilization of Ghana, since time immemorial, if you're not involved, it doesn't happen. If you, the chiefs of our country, are not involved, it doesn't happen.
I have plenty money in my pocket, so I don't mind cocoa. Look, I'm now cutting it off. You see, it is my own bonafide property. Nobody can stop me to stop cutting my own cocoa tree. Are you plant it for me? Plant it for you, food and job. Am I involved?
Watch it, your mom. What do you want for Jina court? At the Omoko prison. And then make us say, your mom will be at that prison. Say, Galam Sainty. And so, you're watching China Niba. I know you're Galamsey Queen. I know the more of an uncle Jina court. I'm for an uncle too. Most on the uncle Nicrum. And I'm way down the free or home. And so you're mad yet. Omoda if you say. As you, you're bad. Omochi or Mogalamsey no. On my true mumu, Yabama or amnesty, no more Saba. Mojidi said, I'm ready almost from here. Almost no more. And see, you be yomo. Now, we have another chance. If we say, you be yes, Ebema and Yoma, aye. Yanko yet, Senya, say, party be home, and now say, one yet, Nipebi, and the Galam say, no, Yampene Mao yet, or the Cotrans and come cool. Now, your party for DC, no, anyone, almost the Galam say, no, Oma Pene Momo yet. Ezu Nanye Yana said, Obi excavator yaje. Now they come out before. Now on the two gold. Now the outer home. And then they say me ba. Excavators I had to get free for you. I have a job at the near side their mom. Your University of Tapa, your friend University of Mines and Technology, UMAT. How much your school follow? Send your young mining, Nikwanso. Send a bear, Obian Pra, and answer Obian Grenanquan. Enti Yaba, district via Yaba a Juma. Yeah, this school for University of Mines. Obi our concession be our ya don't become no much some choir, Modebaya mine and no son of bear, Obi Anshwim and Quanaso, Obi Ampra. Na mutu sika koko ni wie mutu go ni ya ombe kire mo say na mo be pia anua no akata so fefefe na ye due ogu so say na be ya asase no ebe ye biu.
The minister must be investigated. Of the excavator Asiwaha, he must be investigated. The president of the republic, I'm begging you, because I'm not for to Jadwa. Obi ni bibi anebusia. Ne yire ne maami nebusia ni a ne mbe school fees. Ni ya excavator we mu. It also nipa no nya den na wadidi. Nipa no nya den. Ya papa Kufuado, who create aduma ni bi no. Now minister si bi so say no. Yes. Ya papa Kufuado. Then director of operations, Ayonabu Akome. From Paul Watson, any ministers, to Papa de Sagunati, I'm on to me, Yanajuma. What it means, Sagunati, and now Papa, the director of operations, in the Dano Secretary, on to me, Yajuma. Look at this. Kufuado amamu oponia wabu. Kufuado. Aba bone ni papa suban. Onwa bi na Kufuado ya Kufuado pesi okuye nyina o. Obi excavator 6 machines 15. So for the double to machine nyina. Amamu oponi. We did the president. Then of course, way. I be any ho, BDT, one party machines. High tension, I said that. The person me boa ankwa di maya for. Na to bebre a ya je ye wudi ade ya no e ba betwemu nyina ma hyase e twetwemu ba ko ba.
And I understand that, but nevertheless, I don't think that anywhere in the world that people go into teaching expecting to become millionaires and make money. If you want to do that, you do other things. If you want to do teaching, it's because you want to make a contribution to the welfare of the society and its growth, and you've done that very, very well.
Because I'm going to say, the Babati petrol, so who do also an petrol and a cost.
The Baba near so if the Baba Yapo, there's one person cried in Yapo, and then only cake once in the year.
Akufo-Addo has made it very clear that his government is going to build a globally competitive economy. We have not really been thinking global, and this is what we need to do, that we have to understand that we are in competition with other countries, and investment moves from country to country, and we have to think global. And so, the Nana Akufo-Addo policy, which he stated, is just basically to build the most people-friendly and the most business-friendly economy in Africa. This is the goal that we are going to try to do, the most people-friendly and the most business-friendly. The tax issue is a major issue, because if you are so, fixated on revenue, you will essentially end up hurting your production. And so if you go back into history, you study the economic history of United States, Germany, England, all of them have used the tax, policy to encourage production. And this is why we are saying that, today you have a situation in Ghana, unbelievable situation, when businesses are out on strike. Businesses who should be selling are out on strike. Why are they out on strike? Because they've been overburdened by taxes. And if you don't take care, you'll be chasing the tax revenue and killing businesses. And when you kill businesses, it means you are causing unemployment. And so if you go back, this is why Nana Akufo-Addo is saying, we need to mobilize financial resources. So why are you going to be imposing VAT on financial services? It doesn't make sense in a country which has got a very large unbanked population, and we want people to bank. We will abolish that, he says. We will abolish import duty on all raw materials, because that has been a policy that will help production. Let the businesses produce. Let them make profit. And when they make profit and employ people, we will get income taxes and we will get corporate taxes. So you don't go ahead to kill the business. No, let them bring in the raw materials. Let them produce. Then you will tax, at the end of the day. And I think that you have a government where you have cutlasses being taxed, condoms being taxed, and even savings. There was a 1% imposition on savings, which was later withdrawn. On investments, yes. On investments, which was later. Even to think about it it's been suspended. It's been suspended. But even to think about it.
Oh, it's now abolished, is it?
Okay, good. Yeah, but even to think about it, it doesn't. It just questions who are making these policies.
But isn't it just another way?
Another way of raising revenue.
Well, yes,
but when you become desperate, this is what happens, that when you've mismanaged the economy into this hole, then anything sounds great to you because you don't have any option.
What if you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth? You are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. As a Tuesday, the 2nd day of April 2024. And we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude will go to Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making around here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into a panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But of course, we have a few newspapers, but lots and lots and lots of news items. So let's check out the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic, Pump Optimism, Mac Easter. Import duty stall, Hill Konfanochi project. Parliament approves 6.87 billion cedis for NHIA, dialysis for needy, promoting health checks covered. There's cure for cleft lips children, surgeon. A new crusading guide. Baumia Jabs Mahama says a vote for Mahama is a vote for his retirement package. You may inherit fantastic wealth. Without discipline, you go bankrupt. Tekpe's take on economy. Chiefs of Ahafu in Kasem appeal to Newmont to support youth in community mining program. AG admonishes IGP to desist from impounding vehicles without valid insurance certificate. Cocobod denies iPad keyboard allegations. What have they denied? That they are yet to buy. Okay. Teshi youth chief fingered in illegal land grab at Islay gone. The insight. John Bwedu, he says front runners in MPP Aplanke race will be disappointed. Teshi youth chief accused of illegal land grab but insists on lawful acquisition. The blood of the baby that died due to doomsday is on the hands of Napo and Akufo-Addo, Osei Akoto. We stand with Cuba, damned to U.S. imperialism and blockade. Progressives and Cuban solidarity groups declare in Nigeria. Ukraine, Europe sleepwalks through its own dilemmas. And that's about it for the front pages. But of course, the biggest story in Ghana today has to do with what happened at Nungua, about a 12-year-old girl, and of course, the priest, the chief priest. And that's the biggest story in Ghana, really, this morning. There's been a lot of statements. The office of the chief priest has spoken. They've granted an interview. You've had the Ministry of Chieftaincy speaking. The Ghana Police Service has issued a statement. Gadangbe has also issued a statement. We'll be back shortly.
It's good to stay strong together. It's good to share nutritious meals cooked with Frital, a vitamin A fortified oil. Frital, you deserve a life of goodness. This advert is FDA approved.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot. You always get way more with Betway. As you might see.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Emma won sahun shisho. Ena epu ehuro nsu yi. Eyi nkekaya nkasa.
soon to be.
The Jamal washing powder for furnace sachets I can see in Numaba. A ye in Kikayan Kasa.
For Jamal washing powder, bottle 30. Can you mount the Bejawari?
New Jamal washing powder. A mania meniti, Nemusi sham, Uhukafu a or Mawonta dienity. FD aje a dreading crato yatumu.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
Prepacho bantama.
Matiasi. It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Gidi said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
Yes, here. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasa. Kile hosen. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with your front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
An essence solution.
Welcome to
I have the Honorable Deputy Minister of Sanitation of Parliament for Sisala East. That's the Honorable Amedu Chinia Isahaku. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning.
I got the names right here.
Yes.
Okay. Also with me on the show this morning is the Director, Legal Affairs of the NDC, who's also the Executive Director of FT.
Randy. My board chairman. My board chairman.
Eduji Tamaklo.
My board chairman, Randy. Good morning, Honorable, and good morning to our cherished viewers. Yeah.
You know, when I was told that you were on the show, I was like, did the Honorable go for Easter?
Oh, I went.
Oh, okay.
I was in the constituency for like a week and 4 days. I came back the day before yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I left my constituency the day before yesterday and and joined the flight.
Well, it's crazy. How do you guys manage it? Especially those of you whose constituencies are quite a distance from Accra. How are you able to do it?
In fact, my constituency is the capital, is the furthest from Accra in the whole of the country. Tumu is the furthest capital from Accra.
So you fly to Wa?
Yeah.
And then from Wa to your places, how many hours?
About, you take 2 hours.
Okay.
Depend on your car. Sometimes you can take more than, because our route is not very good.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. But the Wa flights are not that regular.
They are not regular. Right? They are not regular, but it's better. I mean, it's a big improvement because you have flights out of the 7 days in a week, 5 days.
5 days?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That must be...
It's only Saturday.
That must be this airline.
Passion, yes. And they're doing an excellent job.
You know, Passion is you see, the least served or unserved places is where Passion really, you know, and I'm thinking that, look, for airlines like that, we need to find a way of supporting them, because I know a bit about that industry and I know that it's crazy. They are really under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I perfectly agree with you, because why it's not, I mean, many of the indigents don't use flights.
Yeah, it's not a financially lucrative route.
Lucrative place, yes. Sunyani, I mean, they used to do Ho.
Yes.
Then Tamale. They're doing an excellent job.
Yeah. All right, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, Randy, on this Passion Airline issue, I think it's something that we should consider. I strongly believe that beyond the financials, the decision to actually go to, say, Wa and those other places itself is a corporate decision that must not be seen to be a punishment. So that sometimes what you do is that you deliberately give more incentive to such companies so that others will come there. And once they come there, it improves competition for the welfare of the final consumer. So I strongly believe that the Ministry of Transport, Ghana Airports, they know some of the incentives. Maybe if it's even about taxing of the aeroplanes,
well, sometimes for some
costs
sometimes for some of the routes,
discount.
It will make sense to even reconsider the taxes that we put
the point I'm making
on some of those tickets, so that it's a bit affordable for
improves,
them.
Even
the airlines themselves.
Yes.
Some of the charges that
and their margins.
Yeah, some of the charges for using the airports and all those things. These are things that we ought to really take a second look at, you know, to make it a bit more competitive. When you speak with players in that industry, it's a miracle that some of them are still, you know, going around this business. Anyway, but if you're looking for a toothpaste that will take care of all the family and save money, well, at least if you cannot afford to buy an air ticket, you should be able to afford a good toothpaste. Okay, so the recommended family toothpaste is KEL 360 toothpaste and is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, And with its cool means, gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste, another product from Customary Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Customary Company on 024-6864-798. Kel 360 toothpaste, happy smile. And the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumono, or just call them on 0200535515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. And Estate Masters Limited is giving a 10% discount on all their lands. These lands are located at Nungua Pram, close to the Central University and Chupoli, close to the Saglemi Affordable Housing project. And the prices range from 12,500 cedis to 25,000 cedis. So you can contact Estate Masters Limited on 00304-447 or 0593-803-180, or you can also find them on social media at Estate Masters GH or www.estatemastersgh.com. All right. So we get on with this something here. Now, Eduji, you are the lawyer here.
Yes.
Oh, no, but you're not a lawyer, right?
No, okay. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, so you're like me.
I have at least some legal background. He was my mate at we program together.
Yes.
Okay.
The masters in LLM.
Okay. But I've done LLB.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you have
except I haven't gone to Makola.
That's fine. That's fine. There are many like you. Anyway, so I've just seen this interesting letter from the Attorney General to the Inspector General of Police.
Okay.
It might sound something innocuous, but some people feel harassed, and they feel that it's an issue that is probably, I don't know how to put it, but the thing that there's some level of high-handedness, but impounding of or prohibition of the use of motor vehicles for minor violations of road traffic regulations. And the Attorney General writes, I wish your good self and the Ghana Police Service a happy new year. Okay. So this letter was actually dated the 9th of February. So it's over a month old. And it says that the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice has received incessant complaints from members of the public, including lawyers and senior public officials, about the tendency of officers of the Ghana Police Service to impound or prohibit the use of motor vehicles deemed to have violated provisions of the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180. The provisions of LI 2180, under which police officers regularly exercise the discretion to impound vehicles, relate to alleged violations of the rules of road contained in Regulation 6 and other provisions pertaining to crossing the red light or driving a vehicle without a valid insurance certificate. A reason often advanced by police officers for impounding a vehicle is the necessity to, quote, use the vehicle as an exhibit in court proceedings. Whilst noting the mandate of personnel of the Ghana Police Service, we observe that relevant provisions of Regulations 158 of LI 2180, which govern the power to inspect, impound, and prohibit the use of motor vehicles, stipulate as follows. An examiner, an authorized vehicle inspector appointed by the licensing authority or a police officer may inspect a motor vehicle or a trailer to ascertain whether the provisions of the Act or regulation made or permit issued under the Act are being complied with. In the event of non-compliance, an examiner authorized by the licensing authority or police officer not below the rank of inspector may, by order in writing, prohibit the further use of the motor vehicle or the trailer until the provision has been complied with. And then it goes on with the 5 and then the 7. The 7 says a person who contravenes this regulation commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not less than 25 penalty units and not more than 50 penalty units, or to a term of imprisonment of not more than 3 months, or to both. Says a careful examination of LI 2180 will disclose that the violations for which police officers regularly impound vehicles, including Regulation 106, Rules of the Road, and other provisions relating to ignoring red light and driving without a valid insurance, are misdemeanors. This is easily discernible from the prescribed punishment of a maximum of 50 penalty units or a term of imprisonment of no more than 3 months, or to both. By virtue of Section 1 of the Criminal Offences Act, 1960 Act 29, a misdemeanor is construed in accordance with Section 296 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act 30, Section 2964 of Act 30 stipulates where a criminal offence which is not an offence mentioned in subsection 5 is declared by an enactment to be a misdemeanor, and a punishment for that offence is not specified, a person convicted of that offence is liable to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 3 years. It is thus beyond doubt that the violations, the subject matter of this letter, are misdemeanors. An application of the road traffic regulations, particularly Regulation 158, requires fairness, candour, and reasonableness. The impounding of a vehicle is not necessary for proof of a violation of any of the rules contained in Regulation 158, or indeed most of the provisions in LI 2180. Thus, a position that a vehicle is required to be used as an exhibit in court is untenable and unreasonable. As Attorney General and the principal legal advisor to the government, I advise that police officers should desist from impounding or prohibition of the use of a motor vehicle for minor offences, such as an alleged violation of any of the rules of the road contained in Regulation 106 and other provisions pertaining to crossing the red light or driving a vehicle without a valid insurance certificate, etc. An unreasonable exercise of discretion or a failure to adhere to the advice herein has the tendency to result in unnecessary suits against the government, occasioning needless expense and potentially avoidable judgment debts. The Office of the Attorney General is already inundated with many suits arising from wrongful exercise of discretion and negligence by police officers. Further, ought to be noted that responsibility for maintaining the condition of an impounded vehicle shifts from the owner of the vehicle to the state. Impounded vehicles are exposed to the risk of deterioration and theft of essential parts. Accept the assurances of my highest esteem, Godfrey Debo Adami, Attorney General, Minister of Justice. Adeji, are you one of the lawyers who have complained to the AG?
Oh, no. My complaints have not got into the Office of the Attorney General on this first matter. I think I essentially agree with the Attorney General on this matter. And I would rather plead with the officers of the Ghana Police to exercise a lot of great judgment when
you are under arrest. Let's go to the station.
That kind of situation. And oftentimes, the danger is that when you are arrested, there's always the request also to take your driver's license.
Yes. Then they sit in the car. Let's go to the station.
That process, a lot of negotiations can happen within where you are arrested and to the nearest police station. You can negotiate your way out if the possibility exists. I strongly believe that whatever it is, the Ghana police and officers, most of whom we interact with in our daily activities, should consider this advice. And
this is clearly a 1960 legislation. I don't know if it's gone through some amendments yet. But obviously, how do you use a vehicle as exhibit in a case involving jumping a red light?
And oftentimes, the proper exhibit in such an offense will be whether or not you cross the red light.
Yes.
It is not the physical possession of the car.
Or not having your license on you.
And thankfully,
or not having a driver's license. Or using an expired license.
Yes. Thankfully for the Accra roads, because of the video, the intelligent traffic system, the videos are able to capture you when you cross. So I strongly believe that the tendering of that video recording should be enough evidence for the purposes of establishing whether or not I crossed the red light, and if so, whether it was deliberately done. I believe that that can be done without impounding the cars. And so I will plead with the great officers of the Ghana Police Service to consider this advice greatly. And like it is stated in the advice, the danger is that when you impound these cars and it goes out there for long and there are deterioration in the value of the car, is the state in readiness, as it were, to compensate these individuals for the loss, either in value or whatever? That becomes another challenge on the Republic. So I think this is something that IGP Dampare, his officers, the great officers of the Ghana Police, can make things work better. And I think it's doable instead of impounding those vehicles. And you notice that on the issue of it being a misdemeanor, even though there are some, the judges are at liberty, even with misdemeanor, to do sometimes custodian sentence, often is a fine. So if it will result in a fine, why would you, for the purposes of anything, say, I'm impounding the car? I think these are all things that have been introduced into the justice, or let me say, the criminal process by the police to make it a bit more difficult for the purpose of the negotiation. If the outcome is so easy to reach, the negotiation becomes problematic. So I strongly believe that this is something that should be carried through.
Honorable.
Well, Randy, let me say good morning to my friend, lawyer, and to my constituents and all those listening to it this morning. I also want to add my voice to what lawyer has just said in agreeing with the Attorney General that this advice to the police is timely and necessary. I have had the experience of being arrested or stopped by police officers because they alleged I had crossed the red light. And we too, when he stopped us, I was in front. The person that was behind me had cause to challenge that, he had not crossed the red light. And the police officer requested that we should go to the police station. And I told him that you can take the vehicle number. You can take my particulars if you want, and then once you say you have video evidence of we crossing, that is what you need as exhibits to take us to court if you so wish. But to say that we have to drive to the police station without considering what errand we are running and the cost of the errand, if you waste my time in the case of a misdemeanor, what will be the consequence if I have to sue you for having wasted my time for a crime that is not grievous? But he insisted, and I willingly agreed. But the person that was with me, resisted. They had a lot of confrontation to the extent that when we go to the police station, I had to start talking to the other person that should exercise patience and let's listen to them. And suddenly, another police officer who noticed me and knew me as an MP and a deputy minister, I said, "Honorable, what are you doing here?" And because I didn't disclose who I was to the person, and the police who arrested us began to say that, "Oh, I conducted myself well, and so I should go." But the other person misbehaved, and so he will have to. And I had to intervene. I have to let him know that some of these things, you cannot use vehicle as evidence, like lawyer said. What kind of evidence is it going to serve in the law court if you are going to keep my vehicle at the police station? And so I believe that somehow the police officers are abusing with the citizens rely on some of these laws, which is not fair. And I perfectly agree with the AG that the Inspector General and the Police Service should take a second look at it, because if citizens are minded to actually take on the police service after some of these alleged crimes and being disturbed and your vehicle being kept for days and all that, and probably the activity you are going to carry out and the fact that you've been arrested and probably the time wasted and the effect on what you are going to do, probably the state will pay more for whatever crime that you might have committed, and that is not good enough. And so I will add my voice to lawyer in urging the IGP and the police service to adhere to this advice by the AG.
The police, they are friends, so we live in the same community and others with them. Some of these things create needless enmity between us and the police. And I strongly believe that is completely avoidable. If the purpose of the arrest, the preparation of your docket or whatever to go to court for a breach of that traffic offense, I strongly believe that the evidence that is required in court is not the vehicle. In fact, no judge will come out and say, I want to inspect. But thankfully today, the police have the benefit of cameras almost at all our traffic intersections. And it's easier to extract this, what do you call it, video for the purposes of tendering it in evidence. That can be done without the impounded car, which is so easier for us if for the purposes of proving that a wrong has been done. So I think this is something that we should all support and get it done.
All right, so I'm sure that for both of you in your LLB class, one of the things that you read about had to do with the hierarchy of laws and the fact that there are laws that are recognized by the Constitution, and that includes customary law. But that's why I also refer to hierarchy of laws.
Yes.
And I'm sure that in this conversation, that issue is going to come up again, because there clearly will be a conflict of customary law and other laws. Now, the Gbobu Wulomo Shrine in Nungua is defending itself against calls for the arrest of a 63-year-old priest over the marriage to a minor. The controversy erupted following the marriage ceremony held on March 20, sparking widespread outrage and demands for the traditional priest, Nomo Bokete Lawechuru. Is that 33rd? Okay, his prosecution. According to the Gbobu Wulomo Temple, Na Yomo Ayemwade has been designated to attend to one of the 99 deities of the Gadangbe group, which necessitates her being a virgin. This requirement led to the decision to publicly conduct the marriage ceremony to ensure her purity was maintained and to safeguard her from sexual violation by men. A spokesperson for the temple, Nibote Kofi Frankwa II, explained that the selection of the 12-year-old Nayomo Ayemwade by Gbobu Wulomo is a spiritual practice that began 6 years ago. She is expected to fulfill a role within the shrine that is traditionally reserved only for virgins. According to the spokesperson, the critics who have cried foul over the development do not appreciate the tenets of the Gadangwe tradition. Quote, when somebody makes such a call, it comes from a point of ignorance, because first, you need to come closer and ask so that you appreciate what it is, but not take hook, line, and sinker what is being said. He said at a press conference, it's because it goes beyond what is being preached out there. It is deeper than what is being preached. It's deeper for our spirituality. He told Accra-based GH1. Meanwhile, the chief of Sempe and Mankralo of the Ghana State, near Adote Otinto II, condemned the marriage by the priest. Speaking to Joy News, the traditional leader called on the youth of the area to resist this development, as it would dent the reputation of the townsfolk. The chieftaincy ministry also says it's probing the circumstances. Now, Gadangbe has issued a statement signed by its president, the Honorable Ayikwe Otu, a former Attorney General of this republic. Now, he says that the recent report of the Gbobu Wulomo being married to a girl under the legal age of marriage has raised concerns and sparked controversy. The Gadangbe Council viewed the phenomenon as a complex issue that requires careful consideration and action, and for which reason the Council refrained from expressing opinion when the story broke, preferring to do more research and consultations on the matter, considering that the Gbobu Wulomo himself is not an illiterate. At first blush, the council, like all other well-meaning Ghanaians and social commentators, deprecated and denounced the ceremony christened a Ghana customary wedding. Boy Ekpayo. Additionally, it is not difficult to infer that a significant age difference between the two parties may create an imbalance of power, leading to potential abuse and exploitation. It is essential to acknowledge the legal and ethical implications of marrying a girl who is underage, because in this country there are strict laws in place to protect minors from exploitation and abuse. By marrying a girl who is not of legal age, the traditional ruler is potentially violating these laws and putting the girl at risk of harm. Many have cited the Constitution 1992, the Criminal Offences Act, and the Children's Act, all dealing with consent to have sex, to be married, defilement of female, and void marriages, which are legitimate concerns, with some even calling for the police and other state actors to set in. In addition to legal and ethical concerns, there are also societal implications to consider. The traditional rulers' actions have reflected poorly on the Nungua traditional area, as well as the Gadangbe community in general, giving detractors the opportunity to denigrate and make us objects of derision. The other concerns being whether, since the ceremony is part of the traditions of Nungua, it should be respected and isolated or given immunity from state laws. That also the council finds problematic. Further probing has, however, revealed that instead of a traditional betrothal, the MCs who are known during such occasions to exaggerate issues in order to create laughter and liven up the occasion misled everybody present, as well as the entire community, to believe that what was happening was a traditional wedding. The council has engaged the Gbobu Uloma himself and some of his elders, and it's important to clarify that the traditional ruler has stated that the relationship with an underage girl is a betrothal and not a marriage. This distinction to us has altered the legal implications. We are inclined to side with the Gbobu Uloma, since the original reportage made the point that there was another ceremony that awaited a girl to purify and prepare her for procreation. We concede that whilst betrothal could involve an underage person, it does not grant license to the person to start having sexual relationship with such a child, thereby jeopardizing their education and even endangering a difficult childbirth, since their organs are not properly developed. The Gadangbe Council calls on the Gbobu Uloma to address the issue and mitigate the concerns surrounding the betrothal, and to ensure that a girl's well-being and rights are protected, and that her best interests, such as her education, are prioritized throughout the engagement process. She should continue education until she reaches the legal age of marriage, and even marriage should not disrupt her education if she is still willing to continue. The Gadangbe Council also calls on the parents of the child to keep an eye on her and let her understand that, notwithstanding the betrothal demanded by custom, she is still an infant and entitled to enjoy life and engage in youthful pranks like all others of her age. We hope that this statement will assuage injured feelings and let this matter pass. Okay, I doubt if it will. But from the Chieftaincy Ministry, it also says that it's taking into serious consideration the recent marriage between a 63-year-old traditional priest in Nungua, Gbobu Uloma Numo Bokete, Lawe, XXIII is 33, right? Okay. And a 12-year-old girl. The Sector Minister, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, has pledged to investigate the matter in order for his outfit to understand the issue and take necessary measures, since the bride, Naya Mwade, is a minor. Quote, I'm still doing a lot more checks through the traditional authority and the police command on the ground, because we're talking about a minor here. We're also trying to reach the family of the 12-year-old. It is not clear what is happening there, and I want to get to the bottom of it. Now, finally, the Ghana Police Service. The Ghana Police Service has identified and located a 12-year-old girl who is alleged to have been married to a 63-year-old Gbobu Uloma in Nungua, Accra. The girl and her mother are currently under police protection. The Ghana Police Service is working with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the Department of Social Welfare to provide her with the necessary support while the matter is being investigated. Is this a practice that you are used to in your area?
Well, I think betrothal marriage is common across Ghana.
Yes.
It's common across Ghana. But what I want to say is that, Randy, our culture, our tradition is very important, because that is what identifies us. Of course, with time, certain aspects of our culture, our traditions, are seen as outmoded and not in tandem with our laws as we have in our constitution and other relevant laws. Betrothal marriage, for me, I personally consider it as one of the outmoded practices that accepts, especially that we all respect human rights. I mean, you should respect one's right. And a girl below 12 years below, 12 years is not matured enough to make a judgment as to who should be her husband. And that one alone for me makes it wrong for whether in this particular marriage there is going to be sexual intercourse or not. I don't think it is right, because the girl at the age of 12 cannot make the right judgment. And it is a right to mature and make a judgment for herself as to who she wants to marry. And like you stated earlier, we have a hierarchy of laws, and nobody can, under the pretext of customary laws, undermine the Constitution of Ghana, because it is the supreme law. And the supreme law of Ghana is very clear that no woman can marry below 18. Yeah. 18 years. If you are 18 years and below, you cannot get married. So
they said this is not marriage; it's the process leading to marriage. So the process can start even 6 years before you reach the age.
Randy, it cannot be the case. It cannot be the case. Once you start the process, we are men, and the temptation of adding other things is very possible. And like I said earlier, as long as a girl is not mature to make an independent decision as to who she wants to marry alone, under our human rights law, makes the action wrong.
So she's been called by the gods. It's the gods who have chosen her.
And I have said that I am a believer of the maintenance of our culture and tradition. Mm-hmm. For instance, our languages. We have to maintain our languages. The languages we speak, because that one identifies, I'm a Sisalaman. Yes. If I can't speak Sisale, then what makes me a Sisalaman? Mm-hmm. Our local names, I'm Chinya. When those who understand Sisale, when they see the name, there are certain names when you see, you know that this is a Sisalaman. Mm-hmm. There are certain names you see, you know this is a Garman, this is a Dagomba man. Those are positive aspects of our traditions that we have to maintain. But for the negative ones, which are in contravention of our laws, must be done away with. And this is clearly one of such laws, traditions that we have to do away with. If you have your daughter, will you determine the husband of your daughter even when she's 18 years plus? No. You can give pieces of advice to your daughter or any female relation as to the kind of man she should marry, but you cannot make a definite decision as to who the lady should marry.
But if we say that betrothal is something which is widespread in Ghana and is steeped in our culture and our tradition, and it is a practice that is ongoing till today, what makes this one different?
Well, I say...
Is it because it happened in Accra?
No. If it happens in my constituency, I will not support it.
Really?
Yes, I won't support it.
Is it to suggest that there's no longer betrothal in your...
It should be one of the negative cultural practices that we have to do away with. We have to allow girls to grow, mature, and make their independent decision as to who they want to marry. When they go into the marriage and they are suffering, they know it's their own decision. They have that right. You cannot impose on a young lady the husband even before she becomes matured. That is absolutely wrong and against our laws. And so, like I said earlier, there are certain aspects of our culture that we all agree that they are outmoded, they are unacceptable, they are against our existing laws and cannot be practiced. And this is one of them. It used to happen many years ago, but we cannot continue as long as we have the current arrangement of laws. My area, the Sisala area and Upper West for that matter, those things used to happen. But these days, no no parent will allow the daughter.
Maybe they're happening on the quiet.
Well,
because people know that if, for example, this one, if he wasn't accompanied by that fanfare, we probably would not have known.
That I agree with you. There are a lot of wrong things that happen at our blind side. But once it happens at our blind side and we don't see or don't hear, we can't say sometimes. But once we get to know or we get to hear, we must condemn it.
There's something quite interesting with this one. It appears that the parents of this young girl are on all fours with the practice. They were there. They were happy to have that happen. People in the community, adults and whoever, were there. They were excited. They were happy. They believed that their tradition and their customary practice was being, exhibited.
Randy, sometimes it happens that parents accept certain decisions not because they like it, but certain circumstances can push them to accept it, even though they may disagree internally. There are instances where a lady goes to marry a man that the parents may disagree, but because of financial influence, they accept it. But in actual fact, it's against their will. So it is possible that the parents have also been coerced, or they don't appreciate the laws, or they have been influenced by other means. Otherwise, anybody who appreciates our current legislations that we available on these matters will not accept such a practice. You should be happy to allow your child to grow and to make an independent decision. That is very important. You can guide. You can try to advise. But to the extent of taking the decision for the girl when she's not matured enough, she doesn't know the implications of what she's going into. Nobody can convince me that this girl at 12 years actually appreciates what she's getting herself into. And nobody can convince me. As far as I am concerned, the girl is immature. She doesn't know what she has been pushed into, and probably she may live to regret it. And the damage that would have been caused to her will be irreversible. And that is not fair. I think that the Gadangwe tradition, I have been listening to the statement you just read. They try to condemn it. On the other hand, they try to defend it. It appears they are caught in between, and they disagree at one point, and another point they are introducing an Ayuko Oto, who is a seasoned lawyer, who knows that the Constitution of Ghana is supreme over any other law, and knows that the Constitution actually says that.
But the point he makes, the Honorable Ayuko Oto, the point he makes is that to the extent that is a betrothal and not a marriage, all those laws that people are citing don't kick in. It says that once they had a clarification that is a betrothal and not a marriage, and that it was the MCs at the occasion who, in spicing up the thing, then created the impression that it was a marriage. That is what has led to the controversy.
I think that maybe on that note, my very respected senior lawyer, Ayuko Oto, a man I have enormous respect for. I think if he had adverted his mind to Section 14(2) of the Children's Act.
What does that say?
And so I just want to read that portion. And it addresses the specific issue.
Right.
The right to refuse betrothal and marriage.
Okay. So tell us what it says.
Quote, a person shall not force a child, A, to be betrothed, betrothed, B, to be the subject of a dowry transaction, or C, to be married. The minimum age of marriage, whatever kind, is 18 years. Then it proceeds, 15. A person who contravenes the provisions of sections 12 to 14 commits an offense. Upon summary conviction, to a fine not exceeding 250 penalty units, or imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, or to both the fine and imprisonment. So I strongly believe that if my learned senior had adverted his mind to this express...
Let me ask a layman's question. Okay. So what you read about betrothal, it speaks about a minor being forced. Must you therefore not establish the fact that she was forced?
No. Here, the essential ingredient of the offense here is the fact that the general provision is that a person below the age 18 at common law could not engage in any transaction.
Yes.
There are only exceptions. That is, if the person is engaged in what we call contract of necessaries. Obviously, a marriage cannot be considered to be a contract of necessaries. Now, we have moved beyond the common law to a point where we have made it a statutory provision that under no circumstance whatsoever should A, B, C, D happen. And you say, Randy, proud to the enactment.
I wanted a point established.
Yes,
this is the basis for my question.
Yes.
You see that under rape and defilement.
Perfect.
Okay. Consent does not matter to the extent that the age limit is not up to a certain point.
Perfect.
So that's what I wanted to...
Yeah, so that's why I was developing the point. That this whole position is from the common law view.
Right.
That if you are below 18, you're unable to contract. You're unable to contract because the understanding is that you do not have the mental capacity either to appreciate consequences or make an informed decision. And so at the age of minority, you are not permitted to do anything. But even at common law, the understanding is that if it's a contract for necessaries, then a person who is of the minority age can't contract. But you must establish that first, this is a contract for necessaries. But then we have moved beyond that. So if you look carefully under the law, as part of the major reform in 1990s, resulted, among other things, in the passage of the Children's Act. So, and I want to say this, that's one of the things Mrs. Kunedu Ajman Rawlings actually pushed. One of them was the PNDC Law 111, and then subsequently the issue of children. The other matter had to do with what people call the female genital mutilation, and what used to practice within the Ewe community, trocosi, then widowhood rights, the issue of witches and camps, among other things. So there had been a certain overwhelming, conversation to criminalize all these offenses because they actually do violate the rights of the persons or the victims involved. And so, if you look at the law, and I, again, like I said respectfully, I strongly believe that if my learned senior, the distinguished Ayuko to Honorable, had adverted his mind to this clear statutory provision, the admission in his letter that if it was a betrothal, then you can proceed with it with the greatest respect to him. That does not even help the matter because clearly, and this is what they say in their letter, Honorable Ayiko to sign. He said the council, proving further had revealed that instead of a traditional betrothal that the MC who are known during such occasion to exaggerate issues to create laughter and others, they claim that it is not a traditional wedding. If there is this admission that, we concede that whilst betrothal could involve underage person, it does not grant license to the person to start having sexual relations with such a child, hereby jeopardizing her education, even endangering a difficult childbirth, since her organs are not properly developed, among other issues, right? So, if you want to do a betrothal here, and the person is, say, beyond 18 years, that's within whatever you want to do. If you are a man, your daughter is above 18, and you say it is
but the 18 then defeats the whole concept of betrothal, because the betrothal is a
giveaway kind of.
It's something that is done when the person is not.
No, but even here, assuming that at 18, that's what you intended to do, that person is no longer a child. So the provisions of the Children's Act will not apply. At that point, the person is of the age of majority and therefore can decide that, notwithstanding my father or mother's decision to, as it were, give me out to marry to so and so, I do not want to. You can make that informed decision. But for the purposes of this discussion, the 12-year-old, it's just not possible that she can make that, informed decision at this critical point. I would urge the traditional authorities. Incidentally, Bogulomo is a personal friend. I kind of deal with him on some land issues.
Aspirant for the regional chairman.
Yes, for the greater.
In fact, when I started, when I got into football administration with Hearts of Folk, they were our bosses. So he was the team manager for a long time, part of the management team. So he's somebody
an influential character.
Oh, he's somebody.
No, I mean he's a man of extreme influence.
So was he was like assistant to Nigbese today, who then was Tom Yokain. Nigbese currently.
Tom Yokain.
Yes. So the Gbese Manche today. So the Babulomo then, as Stephen Akwete, was like Nigbese's assistant. So you always see Tommy and then him. So that was when you had Harry Zako, Mr. Ernest Thompson, all of them, that squad. Then we were the boys who were, learning from them.
So, Randy, I strongly believe that at this critical juncture, in our forward march relative to the 1992 Constitution, over 30-something years practice of it, the express provisions of the Children's Act, among other things, I think that we may be looking at a possible cease and desist, where in the circumstance, this 12-year-old would be taken completely away. I don't know.
So there are two messages. Let me read it. It appears that, look, we need to, you see, they say that in the, where we call the developed world, and it's something I've said all the time, that law is enforcement. In Ghana, law is enactment. And that's what makes the difference. Now, there are two messages that suggest that, well, probably, this case is what has brought out this issue of betrothal and the fact that it's even the Children's Act and all that. But it appears that the enactment of this law has not stopped a practice which is widespread. So I'll read two messages here. So this one is from Akojo Boafu, who is in the States, but he's from Elmina. And he says, in Elmina, my hometown, when a new chief is outdoored, a lady from a royal family is selected to sit in the palanquin with him during the installation ceremony. According to tradition, any child born to the chief and this lady, known as Ahinimba, will be the next chief. The tradition is rooted in a belief that Ahinimba is the chief's spiritual wife, and the offspring is destined to inherit the throne. This practice reinforces the royal family's lineage and ensures the continuation of the chiefly dynasty. This lady is normally a kid. I think we need to do something about these kinds of betrothal, which are all over the place in Ghana. Then, I have this from the Honorable Neil Antevandapoy, who is MP Ododo. Now, he also says this. He says, these practices have been with us for ages and are still valuable and relevant. There are many young boys who are also betrothed to our shrines. Their liberties, freedoms, and rights are not curtailed. They continue with their education and life. They are only set apart from abuse or to be touched until they reach adulthood. They are tutored deeply in our culture and traditions and only assume responsibilities of their call at adulthood. And in the Bible, Samuel at a much younger age was given up to serve the Lord. He did that all his young age until he was an adult. This practice transcends the Gadangba area. It is only because of the publicity this has been given. And talking about the biblical example, one of our viewers, Frank Latte, has also sent me something that dates from 1747, Negro land, that's West Africa. And it talks about remnants of the tribe of Judah who were forced into exile. And then it also speaks about Mary, the mother of Jesus, and betrothal and all that. So, so the point I'm making is that that's why I said that maybe this was an Accra event, maybe the publicity. But it appears from all accounts that this issue of betrothal is something which has been happening for centuries, for decades, and is happening even today, irrespective of the fact that there is a law that, from what you have read, speaks against it.
In fact, there is a much recent decision of the High Court that His Lordship Justice Akabuafo J.A., a Justice of the Court of Appeal, gave was at the High Court. And this had to do with gun custom. And it has to do with accession to a particular stool. And one of the families contended that the person who had been nominated is left-handed.
Yes.
And for that matter, cannot ascend the stool. And that matter was brought before the judge. And so he had to navigate strictly the various cultural practices and norms and arrive at a conclusion. And my Lord Justice Akabuafo then indicated that, listen, if this thing had happened any time before the 1992 Constitution, possibly would have been permissible.
Okay.
But post the 1992 Constitution, their strict legal regime and a careful reading of Article 11 of the Constitution clearly puts the 1992 Constitution higher in terms of hierarchy over all other laws, and that in the circumstance, to the extent that the Constitution itself does not forbid a person who is left-handed from enjoying the full rights as a Ghanaian, to say that there is a particular custom, and again, it was within a Ghana context, that forbids a person who is left-handed from becoming a chief, to that extent, it is unconstitutional. And any such cultural practice should not be permissible. I strongly recall in those days when the vast issue about truckosy came up, it generated its own emotional and what have you responses. The people who said it was a cultural practice, among other things. Overall, once the Children Act come in, it forbids that from happening. And it doesn't matter who you are, just don't do it. And I strongly believe that the person of Bogulomo that I personally know and have interacted and kind of worked for, I do not believe that is a person who ordinarily would want to engage in such an act. And so I would, under the circumstance, I do not know whether I am qualified so to do, but respectfully advise.
Your senior Kaka Samuel says I should remind you that he's left-handed.
So Abura, he should just know that Abura is forbidden from, going close to...
I thought you said by the judgment, the 92 Constitution...
No, but the law will strictly apply. In fact, this is what we call ad hominem, where you look at the person and then you direct the judgment to him. So maybe this one will go to... But on a more serious note, I would, with respect, urge the respected Steve Akwete, that's what I know him to be, Bogulomo, to basically disengage. You see, he's carved a certain niche for himself, a very respectable one, of course, within the Ghana chieftaincy institution. And so, I strongly believe that the question of reform should be coming from him relative to this cultural practice. Randy, in the past, it was easier for you what they call pioneering. If you commit an offense, right, and you have kids or children, you give the children out, possibly in settlement of your judgment debt or something. All those cultural practices have today been outmoded. And looking at the pedigree, the stature of Bogulomo, I strongly believe that he should lead a reform as to getting this. I'm happy that this thing has generated the needed publicity so that going forward, we can all come to a common ground. Our law do not allow this. So we can shape this culture properly that it does not happen. Where I sit, if you make any attempt that any of my 3 daughters, age 12, should be given out to such a thing, there will be bloodbath. Right? There will be bloodbath. And I strongly believe that this is not what we need today. I've seen communications to the effect that the Bogulomo should be arrested, among other things. I think we should exercise restraint. The issue of arrest comes in when the person is belligerent, has recklessly decided to indulge in such an issue. It may very well be that the level of information available to him may be limited. It provides a platform for all of us to be educated as to the limit to which some of us can, what we can indulge in and what we cannot under the circumstance. So I would ask for restraint in the call for arrest. But I've also seen a publication from Ghana Police to the effect that they have effected an evacuation of the child and the mother. I think it's the proper thing to do beyond the sensationalism. Let's see a common ground and with my respected senior Ayuku and co playing a lead role in the conversation. They will bring the dictates of the law to the attention of Bogulomo. And this should come, we should have a finality to it.
Let me just add some few words.
Please do.
I think you made a very, very relevant point that as a country we need to look at. When you said that Ghana is a nation that enacts laws.
Yes.
In other places,
law is enforcement. In Ghana, law is enactment.
Yes. That is the problem we have. Many of us, the acts my lawyer just read, many of us, including the educated class and even lawyers, are ignorant about it.
Do you know what happens? When the proponents of these laws, let's say the CSOs and others, will succeed in getting these laws approved, then there's fanfare. We have succeeded. The law has been approved. It ends the matter.
It ends there. And that is it's a big challenge that we have to address as a country. There are a lot of laws that should guide society to live and live better. Unfortunately, most of us are ignorant about the laws. And sometimes the challenges that confront us as a country is as a result of not implementing these relevant laws. We just make excellent laws, but when it comes to enforcement, it is almost zero. Apart from laws that are related to politics, all other laws, people overlook them. And that is very, very unfortunate. And so I conclude by adding my voice to the lawyer that the man, from what you have said, is a very respected man. He's somebody who has gone through, who has a lot of experience. And even when you read the statement from the Gadamwe council, they say that he's an educated and enlightened person who appreciates all these things that we are discussing. I mean,
if you know him,
seniors.
I mean, he's such a fantastic.
He did postgraduate studies outside Ghana. Wow. I think in Eastern Europe.
No. Oh, Steve Akwete, you should know. If you have a personal, that is why I strongly believe that this thing possibly came at the right time. He, as an individual, can lead the charge to reform this.
I think we need there's a need for a deeper conversation.
Yes.
Because you see, I don't like us playing the ostrich. It appears from the text we are getting and from what we are reading that this is indeed a widespread practice.
Exactly.
That the enactment of this law has not stopped it. But for probably the fanfare and the coverage of this and the subsequent publication on social media, this would have been many of the others that have gone unnoticed.
Yeah.
And even as we speak, perhaps there's betrothal going on as we speak now.
In fact, Randy,
you are right.
I'm on a platform, and from the conversation, you notice that a lot of the other cultures within our tribes actually permits this.
Yes.
But like we always say in our criminal law class, that the fact that this is permissible, in fact, there's a famous case of incest, and the understanding was that in some of the cultures you are permitted to marry a cousin or something, and that was the defense that the lawyers were putting up, that, oh, yes, it's true, but it's culturally permissible. And the court said no. As far as our criminal legislations are concerned, culture, depending on how reprehensible the conduct is, and in this case, when it is specifically prohibited, you are not permitted to do it. It does not leave an opportunity for you to make a decision. No, you cannot do it, and so don't do it. And I strongly believe that the persons in the gender sphere will take this up. I mean, anybody would appreciate that when PNDC Law 111 came, it was not received with fanfare. It took a lot of advocacy to get it through. And I strongly believe that when we find ourselves, my very good friend Bright Appiah of Child Rights International and Co. can lead this discussion to ensure that we completely reform, so that this 12-year-old lady, 12-year young lady, will become the platform to reform the law relative to betrothal and among other things. So, on this note, I would urge my very good friend, the Bogulumo, to cease and desist, respectfully.
Cease and desist?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Before an injunction is filed.
A restraining order informally. And he's such a person who appreciates the court processes so well. In my dealings with him. So
anyway. All right. So we'll take a break until this story. The biggest story had to do with a board. A board that has the central bank governor, that has a deputy minister of finance, that has a deputy minister of trade, that has the CEO of one of the top companies in this country, notwithstanding the fact that they are now engulfed in debt. I don't know if it's sustainable or unsustainable, but that's another matter. You know, a board which is chaired by somebody who is quite respected in this country. And well, you buy iPads and keyboards for them. And I mean, that was the issue. Then we had a statement from the organization. And the statement said that it had to do with an app which was now going to be used for board meetings. So the installation of an app requires the purchase of an iPad with an accompanying keyboard. This is 2024. Don't go check your calendar. We'll be back shortly.
It's good to stay strong together. It's good to share nutritious meals cooked with Vital, a vitamin A fortified oil. Vital, you deserve a life of goodness. This advert is FDA approved.
This is a call to you. The dreamers. The ones that see no boundaries.
Dreamers take a chance.
The explorers that chart their own path.
Unlock the vibes, connect the energy.
The ones that dare to challenge the status quo.
Get connected, feel the
When others try to think outside the box, you wonder, what box?
catch the wave, enjoy the ride.
To the architects of their journeys. Every connection is an opportunity to explore every experience. This is your call to adventure. Your journey begins here. Be bold, be daring, be free. Connecting passions, connecting dreams, connecting ambitions. Telecel, connecting energies.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a Missy Wayne.
Prepare bantama.
My chest.
That's a cycle.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Gidi said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
Reskia, Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasa. Kile kosen. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
These adverts have been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatment, like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer.
Hey, what's up?
How far with your internship?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh, please. I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for internet. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
After you answer a line, ting.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in the office when you can just download their app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Miss Seth, I'm starting work next month.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have the Honorable Amidu Chinia Isahaku and the legal practitioner, Godwin Eduji Tamaklu. But what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, us got the Mola, got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie could play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats out in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko. Dakosombo Dan be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control of every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply and is not for persons under 18. It's regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go and grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 055 001 0000. Right. Okay. So, in the course of the holiday, there was this internal memo that made the rounds, and that internal memo was a request for the purchase of keyboards. And it says that we write to seek approval for the purchase of 15 pieces of keyboards for our board members, each costing 4,500 cedis. This is to enhance productivity and guarantee that they are comfortable utilizing their iPads during meetings. Attached is a proof of my invoice for your review. We count on your cooperation. Now, this memo suggests that these 15 persons have already been provided with the iPads. But what is required are keyboards that they can mount the iPads on to make their work comfortable. And this really generated a lot of questions. I mean, and the people were asking, I mean, these are not management personnel. These are board members. And if you look at the composition of the Cocobod board, the board of the Cocobod, you have people like the governor of the central bank, a deputy finance minister, a deputy trade minister. The CEO of Cocobod himself is there. It's a board which is chaired by Mr. Peter McMahon. And so we were like, I mean, for all this, why the institution has to buy them iPads and add keyboards for them to be able to do their work? So while this was going on, then yesterday, Ghana Cocobod then issued a release. There's clarification regarding procurement of iPad keyboards for board of directors. It says the Ghana Cocobod has taken notice of the widely circulated memo originating from the Information Systems Department of the board. The said memo is a proposal requesting management to approve the procurement of iPad keyboards for members of the board of directors. The request to purchase iPad keyboards was based, please listen to this carefully. The request to purchase iPad keyboards, not purchase iPads, the keyboards, was based on the board's adoption of the Convene app, which is part of efforts to reduce the use of paper and stationery during board meetings, while at the same time enhancing productivity and collaboration among members. We wish to emphasize that management has not sanctioned the procurement of the keyboards, and consequently, no procurement transactions have taken place. And this is issued by the Public Affairs Department. So when I saw it, the first thing was that it says the request to purchase iPad keyboards, the keyboards, was based on the board's adoption of a Convene app. What has the app got to do with keyboards?
The machine itself.
Yeah, I mean, you say that you've already given them iPads, but this memo has to do with the purchase of keyboards to help them use the iPads, be more comfortable using the iPads. And you say that the request for the keyboards had to do with you deciding to adopt an app. What has the adoption of an app got to do with keyboards? Anyway, I'm not technologically savvy, and I'm not that smart, so I probably don't appreciate it. Lawyer Duji.
Yes, Randy.
You live in that world, so
you see,
tell us.
You see, Randy, I think that this particular conversation makes greater meaning if you look at the current state of Cocobod as an institution. The post-2016 management of Cocobod has come in its wake terrible scorecards. Randy, for the first time in over 20 years, we had to do cocoa syndicated loan at 8%, the costliest we have ever had. Usually, cocoa syndicated loans would come at a maximum of 2%. In 2023, we did 8%. We did that 8% because the banks that usually syndicate these loans to Cocobod have given the clearest indication that Cocobod is no longer credit wealthy. And for that matter, they needed premium in order to make do with the cocoa syndicated loan. It has not ended there. As you are aware, persons who purchased cocoa bills have received quite deadly haircuts in the sense that from 26%, government is offering them, I think, 13%. That's almost halving the interest due and payable to the holders of these cocoa bills. And so you have a situation where Cocobod, as an institution, finds itself in a mess due to mismanagement. This level of wastage. And so the company is effectively bankrupt. Now you are dealing with a bankrupt state institution, and in a time of critical distance, and if you look at the memo accompanying the bill that we are just discussing, the minutes on it, among other things. Randy, you note that it is just this year, February this year to March. That was when they were making this purchase. At the time when the company is on its knees, I recall the inaugural speech of President Akufo-Addo that I shall protect the public purse by insisting on value for money. Mr. President, that oath to the people of this country, you have effectively forgotten about it. Agencies working directly under you have turned those public institutions into a platform of wastes. Because, respectfully, you yourself have not provided the critical leadership required. If the president, and I say this without any reservation, can, in the midst of crisis, be renting expensive private jets, it sends a message to his subordinates that they can do worse. When this matter came up, I saw the press release issued by my, we're all in the LLM class, Fifi Boafo. And he tries to water down the impact by saying that, management has not, quote unquote, given approval. Meanwhile, when you look at the memo, the minutes, the handwritten notes, shows that all the management approval had been given.
Yeah, my point...
In fact, the only thing left is to see evidence of actual purchase.
No, my point really...
But from management point of view, yes, Randy.
I even want to go with the release. And I'm trying to make sense out of the release.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that it says the request
is
to
based
purchase
on
iPad keyboards.
Yes.
Because you see, the memo in question is not about purchase of iPads.
No.
It means that the iPads have been purchased already. But you need 15 keyboards to go with the iPads. But you're saying that your statement says that the request to purchase these keyboards was based on the board's adoption of the Convene app, which is part of efforts to reduce the use of paper and stationery during board meetings, while at the same time enhancing productivity and collaboration among members. So are you suggesting that you need the iPads in order to install the app? Or without the keyboards, the app won't work?
But you say, Randy, this is what is called an afterthought. Obviously, Cocobod as an institution never expected that this memo or purchase will leak. And so it is because it has leaked that they are trying to reconstruct the narrative. And in the attempt to PR this particular mess, they have rather created a huge mess. Again, like you pointed rightly, the installation is done into the machine itself. It's not the keyboard. The keyboard possibly will provide a certain greater functionality.
So let's say if we took the governor,
so
Bank of Ghana,
I get you,
will buy the governor an iPad. Cocobod will buy him one. If he sells on some other boards, they will buy him. So anybody, they will buy. I mean, what was the meaning of this?
And my point is that how can it even be said that when Governor Addison is moving from Bank of Ghana to go to a board meeting at Cocobod, he's unable to go with his iPad or electronic gadgets?
No, for every board you must have a separate gadget.
No, but how is that even permissible?
No, I'm just saying for every board. So if you serve on 6 boards, you should have 6 iPads with 6 keyboards.
Randy, how is that even permissible? Why should we even permit that now? And look, if you look at the Cocobod, the board members themselves, these are very prominent individuals.
Yes.
I recall how in the past, our friends in the MPP used to say that, they are coming to office with well-to-do people who have no blah, 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 blah. Now, if you come to office and we begin to see this level of reckless expenditure, it becomes difficult. And I've made this point always. Randy, if you are telling the good people of this country that we are in austerity, and for that matter, Ghanaians should tighten their belts because the journey ahead is going to be rough. And Ghanaians who do so say, okay, a shared responsibility. They want to see your corresponding behavior toward this austerity. You have a situation where the person telling you to put on your belt does not even have a belt hole. How then do you encourage citizens to move along with you? At the time when you are asking public sector workers that we do not have money, at the time when we had to struggle to generate 4 million Ghana cedis for the Reina Center at Kolebu, among many other things that government of Ghana says we do not have money to do. And we see this kind of thing. It is only a government that believes that it is entitled to misgovern that will be engaging in such recklessness. And look, like our elders say, starting from the top, from the very head. The president himself has not been a good example. In the midst of COVID, in the midst of recovering from COVID-19, that was the time he decided to engage in luxurious private jet rentals. Now, if you have this kind of situation, how easy is it to get citizens to join you in the effort to rebuild this country? It becomes extremely difficult. And if you look at the financials of Cocobod, as we speak, terrible situation. Randy, no long ago, you recall, the special audit report prepared by the Auditor General on cocoa rows alone. The Auditor General found that 87% of the cocoa rows were awarded through sole sourcing and restrictive tendering. I recall variously how in opposition the likes of Gabi Asarechidako likened sole sourcing to stealing. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in his various public lectures, used to criticize sole sourcing. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo himself used to attack sole sourcing under his watch as president and vice president. 87% of cocoa rows that were contracted were done through sole sourcing. And this is not Eduji saying it. This is the Auditor General appointed by Akufo-Addo himself, not Domelevo. Mr. Johnson Esiama. That is what he had found on the ground. And so, Randy, we should all get this thing clear, that the various state institutions cannot engage in this wasteful expenditure. You saw the Bank of Ghana 2023 numbers. Emolument, car purchase, car maintenance, travels. How Bank of Ghana, the amount of money they are using for their travels, the amount of money they were using for car maintenance, among many other things.
But it's a huge institution. Bank of Ghana is huge.
No, I'm not even, but you see, if you look at the numbers, in some instances, the jump is about 100%. How do you justify this? And like Cocobod tried justifying this obnoxious, outrageous purchase, is to say that, oh, you know what, the board is yet, there's no actual purchase, and for that matter, it was right. If this memo had not leaked, if you look at the memo and the handwritten
approvals.
The handwritten approval, I think I have a copy. If you look at the handwritten approval, all the people whose authorization required have all okayed
the
transaction.
It's on the screen.
Thankfully, the handwritten. You will see all of them have been okayed. The various signatures, all of them. Look at the handwritten memo. And so, my brother Fifi, withdraw this. It's a complete insult to the intelligence of people.
Right. Okay.
We are not happy.
How many boards do you serve on?
No, I don't serve on any board.
Oh.
I'm not on any board.
You don't have agencies under your ministry?
We have Ghana Water, we have Community Water, and then
and there's no
water resources.
There's no ministerial representation.
There is.
Okay.
There is, but I am not on any board.
Oh, okay. So
Randy,
you just have your parliamentary
by choice or design.
You just have your parliamentary. so you must have only 2 iPads, a parliamentary and a ministerial one.
No, ministerial. There's no iPad.
So it's only parliamentary.
Parliament, they gave us some what is it? Computers.
Yeah.
A computer
for your offices.
Yes, for our offices.
Okay, all right.
But
let me hear you on this. Yeah.
My difficulty is with the letter written by Cocobod. If you had,
is it a press release or
the press release?
Okay.
The press release. Yeah. If you had an agency and you make a decision, or you are about making a decision, you must be bold to stand by the decision, because you would have thought about it severally, you would have consulted. How come that there was an internal memo by keyboard for iPads? How did that start? Certainly, it's a decision that came from management.
A memo from an officer who doesn't sit at the board.
There was a decision from management for the process to be triggered, for these things to be bought. Otherwise, the officer couldn't have written the memo to start the process. So it means that management was in full knowledge of this process. Now, the memo has gone through the process. Various officers have signed on it, giving approval for the items to be bought. And now you issue a statement saying that the things have not been bought. I mean, it's contradictory for me, because no lower officer can start the process of trying to buy keyboards for board members if the top management had not shown interest or requested. So for me, the management should have stood by the decision and justify it.
Yes, if it's justifiable, why not?
They should have their reasons. Whether we accept it or not.
If they put a reason in the thing.
Yes, so they should have stood by their position. You see, Randy, it is one thing when you make a decision and people disagree with you. And another thing when you make a decision, people criticize, and then you run away and you are making a different statement. It rather makes you worse off.
True. You're right.
It's better to stand by your decision, even if it is the worst. That is being principled. But you make the decision, then people talk, and then you shift position. That is how I see the situation. That management is shifting position. And that is not right.
And throwing somebody under the bus.
That is not right.
The person decided by himself.
That is completely wrong.
If you look, DOF is what?
Director of Finance.
And this is what he says, vetted. So I recommend for the supply of the items at a cost of 4,500 Ghana cedis for one.
That's the Director of Finance.
So the Director of Finance, and you the person issuing this, I'm not sure you are a management member. The Director of Finance is a management member. And he says this had been vetted and approved. And if you look at all the signatures on the memo, so I don't know where...
So Randy, I mean, look at that, what lawyer has just said. I mean, on what basis is the Director of Finance approving it? Because under our procurement law, if you want to do such a supply, you request various companies to bring invoices. So I don't know whether there were invoices attached, which should be at least 3. That is what the law requires, at least 3. Then from the 3, you can choose the list. So I don't know the basis for that statement.
In fact, the director is saying that he has vetted.
Okay, so maybe
which presupposes that he
had more than one
invoice. You see the portion.
And he has gone through.
The one in red, that's the DOF, and this is the vetting that was done.
So for me, Cocobod has done itself a disservice because they should have stood by their management decision. Because sometimes, as a country, we get emotional about so many things.
Yeah.
These items, Randy, to be honest with you, I've just tried to check the because you can go and look at when they say iPad keyboard. Some people just go and Google and then they find certain things which will cost like 200, 500. But at least every item comes with its own specs. And so the specs for which they are buying needs to be known. And you look at the market, whether the price is worth it. Because I have looked at a particular
what about the
what they call magic keyboard.
What about the principle? Okay.
Magic keyboard, which will go for about 4,300.
Yes.
So in principle, it's possible that the amount being recommended could be a fair deal. Could be a fair deal because there are iPad keyboards that cost over 4,000 in the market, and they have a specific keyboard that they wanted, and that is why I'm saying that they shouldn't have taken the double stance. They should have stood by their decision. They should avert people's minds to what exactly they wanted. Let people look at it in the open market and see if it is justifiable or the price quoted is justifiable. And from what I am seeing, if it is anything to go by, it means that 4,500 will not be an abuse. Because there are items that cost 4,300. And the person who is doing the supply certainly should have a profit margin.
But the justification the company provides is not that, the 4,500 is competitive.
But I think my point is that Ghanaians are being emotional about this matter because they are looking at the price to be high. And I have been following social media where people have quoted iPad keyboard that you can buy at 800 Ghana cedis. So why are you buying this at 4,000?
Yes.
But the specs.
There's one I saw that said that the same company that was doing the supply has the same product on one of those online platforms for 2,000 something.
Yes. So for me, they should have tried to rather look at, because Ghanaians are worried because of the price. That at this difficult time when people are struggling, you are buying just keyboards at 4,500. For me, when I follow the discussion, that is what I get.
So first of all, we all know that iPads have keyboards already.
Yes.
But then you can also have an external keyboard.
Yes.
Just so that you can just mount it and be doing your. But they have keyboards already.
Yes. So for me, the double standard is where I have a problem. They could have accepted taking responsibility, and even if it is the case that the price is unjustifiable, then you take a cue from the public outcry and accept that you got it wrong. There is nothing wrong with the public figure or a public servant making a mistake and admitting to the public that you have made a mistake. It's part of leadership.
Mistakes.
Yes.
We all make
mistakes. But the double standard is what I don't like. But my respected lawyer tried making running a lot of commentary, not on the subject matter, but the whole company. You see, I have a whole problem with Cocobod, either under NDC or MPP, that we have over-relied on the issue of syndicated loans for too long. This is a very viable industry that, if managed properly, Randy, Cocobod should not be taking these syndicated loans in the first place. It has happened under the NDC, it's happening under the MPP. Let's look at it as a country and begin to take steps that will make it possible for us to raise funds internally and to sell our cocoa at prices that is worth it. Because when you go for syndicated loans, it means you are giving your cocoa, you are selling your cocoa at a certain guaranteed price.
Forward price.
Forward price, yes. And by the time you actually go to the market, the possibility of having higher prices, but already you have committed yourself.
In fact,
and you would have incurred losses.
Even if we had the beans, we would not be profiting from this $10,000 thing.
Well,
we will not.
So that is
the point is that you see the story of Cocobod is that we're even going from bad to worse. I don't disagree with you on your issue of the syndicated loan and all that. Sometimes the fanfare with even syndicating the loan makes me ashamed.
But Randy, I am making this point because we taking the syndicated loan at 8% is because of the current global crisis.
No,
because when you go to all the,
it has more to do with the current credibility of Cocobod. So they went looking for 1 point something billion.
1.2 billion.
But,
in fact, out of the 1.2, they could not. They got only 800 million. So they had to fall on the cocoa purchasing company to more or less front load.
The current thing that you're talking about, the current thing you're talking about also has to do with Cocobod's own books. You see, we have the global Ghanaian debt situation, but inherent in that is also the debt of particular institutions.
Yeah, but the point, Randy, I'm trying to make is that the current debt situation or the current state of Cocobod is a factor. But it is also true that interest rates on loans across the globe have gone higher. So once globally interest rates have gone higher, including Ghana, whichever market you go, you are likely to experience higher rates.
You see, for the Ghanaian banks, it's like saying that you and I, when we go to the bank today, same bank, are you aware that we could get different rates?
Yes. There can be negotiation.
Yes, so you see, these banks, every year, you refer to a syndicated loan, every year they do business with Cocobod. They know Cocobod's exposure. They know how Cocobod is able to repay or not repay its loans. They do their due diligence. They know the ability of Cocobod to be able to pay or not to pay. And these are things that they will factor. Apart from, I'm not saying that the global climate will not be taken into consideration. But a lot will zero in on the performance. So, for example, MTN Ghana, they're also in the same economy. If MTN Ghana was going for a facility from a bank, and Cocobod was also going for a facility, MTN Ghana will not go through that stress. They will not even think twice advancing the money to MTN Ghana because of its books. Despite the fact that there is a global problem, Ghana has a problem. But they will also look at the institutions' credibility and its books.
Randy, I agree with you, but the point I'm also just making is that what you are saying is a factor, but the global, interest rate in the market is also a factor.
No, but this one has nothing. It has nothing to do with global pricing.
No.
The banks were specific that they needed a premium.
It's not even talking about pricing.
I'm talking about interest rates.
No, that's the point I'm talking. The pricing.
Yeah.
And here the banks were specific that they needed premium, more like an insurance. Before
but that has always been the case.
But I'm saying that we have never got into this. This is the costliest. But Bloomberg reported it, and you know it.
But do you also agree that Cocobod has been able to increase the market price locally by 63.6%?
That has nothing to do with
it has. It has.
What has that got to do with you?
So in spite of the challenges, they've been able to increase the market price by 63.6%.
No, but it has nothing to do with you.
For the farmer. So cocoa farmers are benefiting more, even though the company is going through some distress.
How benefited? The point is prices
are shot up by 63.5%.
Listen, you don't farm.
I'm talking about cocoa farmers.
Yes, I agree. I'm saying that Cocobod doesn't farm. The produce is produced by a farmer. The farmer is aware that the price is set globally. You do not set the price. And they have seen the price. Are you telling me that even when the farmer has seen that this is the price, you can decide to give him something lower? You can't.
Well, they determine.
You can, but there will be consequences.
So effectively you cannot.
They will normally engage.
Let's end on this. I've just seen a release on our previous, the previous topic we discussed, the second topic.
Okay.
This is from Gadangbe Lawyers Association. Are you aware of the association?
No.
Gadangbe Lawyers Association. And this was actually issued yesterday. It says the Gadangbe Lawyers Association expresses its strong disapproval of the recent marriage between the Gbobulom of Nungua, Nomo Bokete Lawechuru, the 33rd, age 63, and a 12-year-old girl, which took place on Saturday, March 30, 2024. Despite claims that the marriage was by customary right and will not engage in any marital duties until she turns 18, this does not negate the fact that her fundamental human rights as enshrined under Chapter 5 of the Constitution of Ghana has not been upheld. It is important to note that the Children's Act provides that the minimum age of marriage or whatever kind, and that's what EDG referred to, shall be 18 years. And since she's below the age of consent, she's unable to legally consent to the marriage. Ghana signed the Convention of the Rights of a Child on 29 January 1990, and 1 week later, on 5th February 1990, Ghana became the first country in the world to ratify the treaty, committing to adopt it into national law. Some traditional practices such as this does not uphold the protection of children's rights. The Children's Act also clearly states that the best interest of the child shall be paramount in any matter concerning a child. It's evident that in this case, the best interest of a 12-year-old has not been made a priority. The Gadangbe Lawyers Association calls for an immediate end to this practice and urges the community to prioritize the well-being and rights of children. We call on the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Honorable Laribazu Eru Abudu. Hasn't she been sacked?
Yeah, when I saw...
she's been sacked. Okay. And child rights organizations to intervene. So this is from them. But talking about how widespread the practice is, one of our ardent viewers, Adelaide, says this child marriage does not happen with chieftaincy alone. My story, about 14 years ago, a parent from Garo Timpani, Upper East, residing and farming in Ashanti region, begged me to take care of their 15-year-old daughter in Accra, or he will have to send her to Garo to be married, since she refuses to go to school. The father was worried that she will gallivant and get pregnant, and thus will not be eligible for marriage in the Upper East region, his tribe, where he comes from. I prayed on this before I took her in for 3 years. She really did not like schooling, so I promised to take her to vocational school at 18 years. I enrolled Pinaman, I'm sure that's the name, to hairdressing school before age 18. She went to visit her parents, came back, and guess what? She was pregnant. So that's another that suggests that it is widespread, it happens every day. And so we probably need to take a deeper and broader look at this particular issue. Anyway, so gentlemen.
Randy,
yes.
Randy, one of your regular panelists,
Yes.
Margot, today happens to be her birthday.
Margaret Ansai.
Fantastic.
Today is Margot's birthday.
Yes.
Okay.
And usually on Mondays,
yes,
she comes through for the party. So I just want to use the platform.
Didn't remind me.
So I'm doing the needful.
So today is Margot's birthday.
Stop.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So Margot, happy birthday.
So happy birthday to you, Margot.
And my constituency secretary for Esojaman, Clement, happy birthday as well.
Esojaman is also your constituency?
Yes, I have a lot of
FTs there.
Oh, Randy, from this morning. Thank you.
Okay, do you have FTs in your constituency?
We want Ampim Dakon to retain the seat against
Thomas.
Yes, Thomas against Pipe.
Nice guy. I really like him.
Yes, and we have a lot of West settlers.
Yes.
In that constituency, the town.
Everywhere there's
river.
Everywhere there's water. Everywhere there's water, F and Davi will be there.
Absolutely. So I can only wish him well.
Right.
Wish Pius to well.
Who?
Pius.
Why should I wish him well? In this context.
Both your brothers.
In this context.
Yeah, wish him well. Okay, let him also wish him well.
One is Atiglini and the other one.
Also wish Pius well.
That's all. So it's a drawn game. Anyway, so happy birthday to you again, Margaret Ansay, popularly known as Margot. Happy birthday to you, Margot. Okay, she's always smiling. Anyway,
for you.
Up next, GMG Trends.
Customer.
Nadabena minka, me papa. Me try 10 Ghana.
10 Ghana.
10 Ghana cedis.
No dia, send out benya.
10 Ghana cedis no. Me dia. 54,000 Ghana cedis.
54,000.
540 million.
Yeah, the one who na make me the skase.
Yeah. And then I get it na when. Na wa boki. Draw no na sa afia no. Mami mi volume. Customer. Ready?
One of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Time to check out what is trending on social media. With Desi, need I ask what is trending? Isn't it obvious?
It's very obvious. All the things trending on social media. I'm sure you've touched on that with your panelists this morning. So welcome back from the Easter break. You could see Yesu. So welcome back from the Easter break into a brand new month. The month of April. Hey, they run rough. Already 4 months into 2024. But let's get into the stories trending. The first of it, as you know, from Ablade TV. Look, you know who funded that channel?
Who?
Obodai.
Oh, okay.
So he handles, but he's out of town, so I'm sure he's got people working on that for him. So that's how the story came out. And since then on social media, a lot of people have been sharing their thoughts about it. Even the Ghana Police Service has also released a statement about it and saying that they have identified and located a 12-year-old girl who is alleged to have been married to a 63-year-old Bobu Bulomo in Nungua, Accra. The girl and her mother are currently under police protection. And this one says, somewhere in Ghana, a 63-year-old priest can boldly marry a 12-year-old girl in the name of tradition and indigenous customs. This is not the return to traditional African societal systems we advocate for. Nungua, we are disgusted. Shane. All right, so that's the messages going on Twitter. So, maybe I do it here. A lot of people have been talking about culture, tradition, but this is why they be like, things that.
The Constitution recognizes customary law.
Yeah.
But where customary law is in conflict with statutes or legislation, obviously it gives way. And it's been made clear that this frowns on the Child's Act. The Child's Act speaks about betrothal before the age of 18. And so there's express provision. Yeah.
And also, what I hear...
But the truth of the matter is that it appears that this is widespread. It's been happening every day, even from when that law was passed. We first of all signed on to the International Convention, and then we signed up and we became the first country to even put it on our law books. But typical of Ghana, law is enactment, not enforcement. So, but for this issue, I'm sure that if this was didn't happen with all the fanfare and the coverage and all that, it would have passed just like the many others that pass, that passes every single day in different parts of this country. Because if you read social media, if you get the messages that are coming in, you realize that this is a practice
that's been going on,
that happens every day, irrespective of the fact that there is a law. But obviously, because this one came up, the videos and everything was highlighted in the media, we're discussing it. But for me, the bigger picture is that although we have enacted a law, the purpose of the law has not been served.
And it's been happening. And also, I think I must have heard in there that for like 6 years now, she's been prepared,
So it means from age 6.
Age 6.
Yes. She's been identified from age 6. She's now 12. A public statement has to be made to ward off anybody because she's supposed to be a virgin at the time of marriage.
Yeah. And I heard if you're looking for virgins from a particular house, but maybe I saw, yeah. Why did that so even cut to? Let me move on. Now, if you want to travel and you don't have a passport yet, trouble because the thing that was 100 Ghana wrong. Is here now 500 Ghana. 500 Ghana is, hey! So, that has also caused a lot of, rage on social media. People not happy about it. So let me read some of the comments. This one says that, how can this woman tell me this story? So that's about the Minister for Foreign Affairs saying that even airplane tickets are expensive. You want a citizen to pay 500 cedis for his country's passport. What if he travels and wants an American passport? How will he or she pay? 500 cedis is too much for a Ghanaian passport. At least 200 cedis will be okay. Okay, that's from Kweku writing that on that issue. We all agree government does not have money, but why should any government subsidize each passport with 300 Ghana cedis? Ask the price of passport in Togo, Benin, and the Gambia. So this comment and what I saw the document as to the reason why the increments has happened, that in our neighboring countries.
So, what is the cost of printing a passport by government? How much does it cost government to print one booklet?
One booklet.
Whether it's 32 page or 48 page. That's the first thing you must ask. And should passports be, how do you put it? Should they be subsidized?
Yeah.
Should a passport be subsidized? A passport is not like a voter ID card.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like a Ghana card.
A Ghana card.
You understand me? There are people, especially in the US, who have never applied for a passport, who don't have a passport because they don't need one.
Okay.
They only need a passport when they want to travel.
Yeah.
And there are many, many people, especially in America, Canada, many other places, they don't have a passport because they are not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
So they have their state IDs, they have their driver's license, they have all those things. So sometimes when you're dealing with the issue of a passport, it's a bit different from when you're talking about a Ghana card or a voter ID card.
Okay.
They're different, So passport, driver's license, they are different from when you're talking about a voter ID.
That everybody should have.
But as to whether we should have sat down and waited and do a 500% increment, yes, don't whisper. It's crazy. That's true. That's true. So could we have done it incrementally over a period?
Over a period.
So let's say maybe over a 1 year period, if you had gone maybe 100%, 100%.
It keeps going.
Yes. And then we ultimately get to. But to move from this point to that, it's too steep. And that's what will create.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I look at the bigger picture, should a passport be subsidized? I don't see a passport like a voter ID or a Ghana card.
Okay.
If it's a voter ID, it's a Ghana card, and the expense is borne by the state, I will agree.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But for a passport, yes.
All right. So
if I don't have a need for a travel, why do I need a passport?
Why do you need a passport?
I don't need a passport to access any service in my country. I don't need a passport to drive. I don't need a passport to open a bank account. I don't need a passport to do anything.
Unless you want to travel.
I need a passport when I am traveling outside of Ghana.
Anyway, so you saw the prices on the screen. 500 cedis.
But to move from
100 to 500.
I mean, I agree with you. It's crazy.
Doc, I thought it was April Fool.
Huh?
I thought it was April Fool. That was first April. So I thought by the close of the day they'll say, oh, it was just
the one I thought was April Fool was the Cocobod statement. When he said that they were going to get the iPads, the iPads to facilitate app. I was trying to establish a connection between the app and the keyboard. Then I realized that, some people need some keyboards upstairs.
If it is. If it is. But we are going to adjust for, because, we are quite adjust for.
Our by-election.
Yeah, because former GFA president.
Yes.
Yes. He's one for this.
I've seen some posters.
I
told you about 10 persons.
Yeah. We know. Anyway, I saw someone write but I don't think nowadays it's true.
What?
No, I can't say it on air. But so that's the poster. Vying for the vacant Ejisu seat. So we'll see how it goes in that particular one. So no. On that note, so let me say kudos to everybody who came out to support us. This is Ghana Fair at Osu,
Oxford Street.
Yes, 3 days. It was amazing. So a lot of beautiful stuff from Ghana there. Lots of people came around to also support. And let me wrap up saying today is the birthday of my little siblings, Patrick and Patricia Danso. Happy birthday to you.
Are they twins?
Yes, they're twins.
Oh, you have twin siblings?
Yes, I have twin siblings, Patrick and Patricia Danso. Today is your birthday, 19.
They are 19?
You're 19 today.
Okay.
So I will shower you some blessings. Oh, and also shout to my friend.
Big bro for do show.
Yeah, I say F's and medical.
You get your pay no chance.
No. Oh, but I think this also in the corner. I've skipped moving.
Who is Auntie?
Auntie. Slave. Vegetable, the one and only.
She's been. These days a match. Have you seen her African Prince?
Don't be small.
Hey,
she go do also there.
I saw a picture of you with she and Doctor Doctor knocking in
the Mason.
Yeah. Don't be small.
It has got power to the people. Anyway, that's it for the trends today.
But you have to see, this cement price has gone up.
It's gone up.
So you have to see, the profit has also gone up.
True. No, you know the president was in Kwewu. So the president was in Kwewu.
I saw
a video of him dancing
at the nightclub.
Yeah.
The Rock City nightclub.
Yeah. I mean, 80 years. So he celebrated his birthday also. That was 31st. Friday, yes. So he has to.
It's 8 years.
Yes. Has to unwind,
So you go clubs more.
Then that one to see your friend Agrada.
Who?
Agrada.
How is she my friend? I don't know her.
No, I mean like
I've never met her before.
Our set friend. Odinigru. Hey, so funny.
They were also at the nightclub. The same nightclub. They were with the president.
That one, I didn't see that shot with the president, though, but hey, so for Pan Soloku. Only crew Soloku club star.
So for no be firewood.
That's it for the trends. My name is Desi the Star Boy. I'll be back tomorrow.
I thought you were going to show us the president boogieing in the club. You don't have that.
Oh, that one I'll bring it tomorrow. I'll bring that tomorrow.
The president loves dancing. Have some steps, be.
Be slow but sure.
Yeah, against the pimpiness. Anyway, so I'll see you tomorrow. Up next, Metro Sport.
Join me every week as we embark on a flavor-filled adventure with special guests from different African countries.
Today I'm bringing the taste of Egypt to your kitchen.
Without the garlic, we cannot.
No, nobody can eat this one.